How do we easily detect if our date or our boyfriend or girlfriend is a fearful avoidant so that we know it's not going to be a fun ride? We can make a reasonable decision before it gets too late. The first thing to be aware of with a fearful avoidant is almost always the love bombing that starts off. We will feel as if this person, we've never met anyone who's exactly right for us. They've shown up in such a way that seems to be completely aligned with everything that we are and we do. How can that be? That they tell us exactly what it is that we feel like we want to hear. They have a pattern within them that is able to read extremely well our subconsciously held tensions emotionally, our thoughts, our inclinations, our needs. Inherently, they can read them. And instead of using them for a empathic benefit to the universe, to the community, they're using it for a selfish means to then become something to you that you want from someone else. That makes them feel like they have a sense of worth. It's not necessarily exactly who they are. They've made adjustments. And they absolutely throw themselves into this act so that it appears to us that they're perfect. The trouble is, it's not sustainable because it's not actually them. So they'll start off with this love bombing. They'll be so generous with their time and their energy. They'll be whatever it is that we want them to be because they know. But then it begins to fade. The way we recognize if it's a fearful avoidant is it's because it's so damn full on at the start. A secure person doesn't commit quite so quickly. If we are aware that us as anxious types that would really want someone to understand and see and hear us, we're so quick to accept someone like this. But a secure person will ask more reasonable questions. Gee, they're a bit full on. Maybe just take it a bit slower. But an anxious type, like us, will be, I want to define this relationship after 3 seconds. Slow down, be secure, observe, think to ourselves, this is a bit much at once. Let's pull back and move things slower. That's the first thing you'll notice is that love bombing process they go through. It's a bit too much. For a secure person, they wouldn't do that. The next thing is there are 3 types of discard you'll notice from a fearful avoidant. The first one is the slow fade, because their efforts to be something other than what they are will begin to dissipate. It's unsustainable. As well as that, the dopamine fix they get from the recognition begins to fade as well, and they'll begin to feel like it's not worth the transaction anymore. Anything that's addictive becomes progressive. And because they're not getting the pleasure hormones that they would have gotten before, it starts to slow down until the point where they just don't show up anymore. That's the slow fade. The other one is the coming and going. That's when there is actually a really good connection that goes beyond the wounds, beyond the behavior. You're recognizing the good things that you should be attracted to a person by, and because they're afraid of a connection, they'll come and go. First, they'll want to be drawn to it, and then when they get it, it's like, fear of the unknown. I've never had a healthy connection before. I don't know where this is going to go. And the subconscious registers any unknown event as something we should fear. We're always afraid of the unknown. So they're honestly feeling uneasy about getting something good. It seems ridiculous, I know. But that's where the pull-push comes from, and that's another type of discard. The third discard you'll get from a fearful avoidant, to be aware of and watch for this pattern, is the sudden discard. Everything seems really healthy. They're showing up. They're not saying anything that there's any problem. They're absolutely doing their best to maintain a connection because they are actually really connected to you. The trouble is that their normal exposure to emotional vulnerability at a young age was quite small. And because they're reaching beyond and they're doing their best to remain connected within a healthy relationship, it overwhelms them and they'll sustain it for a long time, and they won't tell you that there's anything wrong until suddenly they're gone. Bang, like that. So those are the 3 types. Unfortunately, it's not always easy to identify, but watch out for what's going on. Observe the undercurrents. See the unknown expressions in their actions, especially in that last type of discard. Watch out for the signs. that they are starting to get stressed within a relationship and not communicating to the highest extent that they were at the beginning. I wish you all luck, but the bottom line is that if you're connecting with a fearful avoidant, you're most likely anxiously attached, which means you have your own wounds to deal with. If you want to prevent yourself from being attracted to and by a fearful avoidant, begin to deal with your own childhood patterns, your own wounds, your own unexpressed emotions from the past, and work towards your own security. There's 4 ways that you can do that in combination with each other, and this is what I do in all of my courses with all of my clients. The first is nervous system regulation. Second is dismissed, repressed, and forgotten emotions from the past to re-express and reintegrate versions of ourselves that we've silenced. The third is healthy words and actions. The way we treat ourselves is the way the rest of the world will treat us. So if we begin to behave in a way that shows our self-worth, we will attract higher value people. And the last is healthy boundaries. How am I going to recognize what is right for me in my life and not accommodate people to align themselves with me that isn't actually aligned with my own worth and my own sense of value? With those 4 things in combination, you can find who you are inherently, the truest and most authentic version of yourself, and in doing so, you're less likely to attract someone with an unhealthy or insecure attachment style like a fearful avoidant. Instead of detecting them and identifying them, become a person who doesn't attract them in the first place. If you want to do that, you want to talk to me about that, reach out. This is how I lead people through to their own secure attachment, and with their relationship with themselves being restored, your relationship with everyone else improves as well.